J here, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about strength and conditioning for Jiu Jitsu. Following me on social media, namely Instagram and Facebook, then you know the importance of Jiu Jitsu to me. And if you haven't been following me on social media, show me some love, click the links down below, give me a follow, let's be friends. But anyway, the importance of Jiu Jitsu, that's what I was talking about. Jiu Jitsu. I've pretty much set my life up so that I can work out, train, coach, compete, and then just follow that same little endless cycle. And it's really shocking if you just subscribed or you're just following on this video, because if you look on the channel, you'll see that I've only posted maybe just a few competition videos, but I haven't really talked much about Jiu Jitsu. And so just a little background, I've been training Jiu Jitsu for about 3.5, 4 years. I'm a 10th Planet Decatur purple belt. And yeah, I compete a lot. I'm also the strength and conditioning coach here. So being an athlete and being the strength and conditioning coach, I do get a lot of questions about strength and conditioning. And I feel like most people understand the conditioning aspect of it. After like your 3rd or 4th class, you understand that, hey, I need cardio. Like, I need to be able to roll for 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes without burning myself out, without feeling like I'm about to puke. And I need to be able to do that for 10 rounds, you know. And so people understand the cardio element. They understand that, hey, I could just go running to improve my cardio, or I could just roll more to improve my cardio, or I could jump rope. And there's a lot of things you can do to improve your cardio, improve your conditioning. But the thing that I get the most questions about is the strength aspect. How do I structure my training, structure my strength training so that it complements my jiu-jitsu, so that it helps me on the mats? And so when I'm structuring my training, I like to structure that training around 6 movement patterns. And those 6 movement patterns are squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, and rotation. So there's a lot of different variations to all of these movement patterns, but I want to talk about the ones that I find most effective for me and the ones that I find most effective for other athletes. And just for the sake of this video, because the patterns, the variations could go on forever, but these are the ones that I find most transferable, or the ones that I think really transfer over into Jiu Jitsu. And so let's get into it.
So there are a lot of squatting variations, especially when you talk about loading a bar. There's a front squat, the back squat, but the one that I really like the most and the one that I find most effective for combat sport athletes is going to be the Zercher squat. 1, because it's the safest and you're not loading the spine, and 2, just like the front squat, having that front load is going to really force you to have good posture and make sure that your core is strong and braced while you're like just driving power up. Another variation that I find pretty effective, especially as far as doing like unilateral work where you're just like really focusing in on using one limb, is just any kind of split squat. So I like to elevate the front foot. A lot of people like elevating the back foot. Anything where you're doing any kind of step ups is going to be great for just isolating a limb. I also really like the belt squat. I don't actually have that as an option at my gym, but I do this variation, which is just like a bandit march. It's a really simple setup, and it does pretty much the exact same thing. And so I really like that again because it's not loading the spine, but it allows you to work your glutes and really work on that posture and making sure you stand upright and making sure that your core is engaged. So the hinge motion is going to be very important for any athlete. To be honest, all athletic movements require you to use your posterior chain. And so it's going to be very important that you build those muscles up. In jiu-jitsu, anything that requires you to get off of your get your hips off the ground, whether that be like getting your hips up for a triangle or playing X guard, or maybe you're trying to just bridge someone off of you. All of that requires the use of your posterior chain. So building that is going to be very important. As far as exercises go, I really like the deadlift, and I usually use the trap bar. I've been kind of leaning towards the trap bar a little bit more for safety reasons. But if you do like the just typical standard deadlift, that's fine. If you're not comfortable with deadlifting, I would go with the motion that teaches you how to hinge. One of my favorite ones is this death march. They call it the death march. It teaches you how to fold over. I also like the kettlebell swing as a hinging motion, or a way to train that hinge. So definitely add these to your program. All right, when I'm thinking push, I'm thinking of any muscles that are going to work the chest, work the triceps, and really force you to engage your core like any other movement, you know. And we could always go for the typical bench press, but what I've been doing lately with different athletes and with my own training is like this glute bridge bench press. I also like the Z press as an option because, again, it's really forcing me to like maintain posture by sitting on the floor and sitting upright. I'm having to like not only use my chest, I'm also having to make sure that my core is engaged and that my posture is good. And of course, if you've been training jiu-jitsu for a while, you know the importance of having a strong core and being able to maintain a good posture. I also like the landmine press as an option for those of you without the mobility in your shoulder over like just a regular press. That's also a very good option. So if you've been training jiu-jitsu for a while, you know the importance of being able to pull things, whether that's pulling for an arm drag or you're pulling someone's head down to break their posture. It's going to be very important that you understand how to activate the muscles you need to pull things. So I'm thinking my lats, I'm thinking my traps, rhomboids. I'm also thinking about my grips. So I like to use the pulling motion as an opportunity to train my grip strength also. So I really like things like the TRX row or the ring rows or an inverted row. I also like the gorilla row, where I take the dumbbells and I just really focus on gripping those and rolling them back, just putting my elbows in my pocket. I also really love the pull-up as an option, and you can do that with the towel. You can change the grips on that so that you're hitting different angles. The pull-up is going to be the most important, but if you're not strong enough to do a pull-up just yet, then the inverted rows and the TRX rows are going to be very important to helping you develop the muscles you need to be able to perform a pull-up. Rotation to me is one of those movement patterns that everyone forgets about when they're doing the strength training. Like, all right, sometimes I need to squat, sometimes I need to push and pull things. Deadlift is going to be pretty important, but rotation, especially in jiu-jitsu, is going to be very important. We're never just moving forward and backwards. We're always going through different planes of motion, and we're in these weird spots where we're having to like stay strong, keep good posture. And so training rotation and anti-rotation is going to be very important. And when I think about the exercises, I think about just exercises where I'm moving through different planes of motion. So like the kneeling kettlebell press, or even the paddle-off press, where I'm having to like really force myself to move through different planes of motion and keep my core strong, and that's more of like anti-rotation. I also like the kettlebell windmills. Also can be done with the dumbbells, you can see here. So the last motion is a carry. You're never going to have to carry another human. Well, sometimes you might, but like this is more about being able to keep good posture, stay upright, make sure your core is strong, and really for me, I use it. That's another opportunity for me to train my grip strength. So I really like any kind of plate carries or a kettlebell carry where I'm just holding one up and racking the other. So hopefully this video is giving you some insight on how to structure your strength and conditioning or your strength training for jiu-jitsu. Again, just think about those movement patterns and think about those options, those movement options. Again, there's like an endless list of movements, different variations that you can do, but these are the ones that I've found to be the
most effective for me in my training and for other athletes when I'm coaching and training other athletes, specifically in Jiu Jitsu. So this is not the end all be all. It's just a suggestion, and it's just things that I found to be, you know, pretty important in my training. So check it out. If you need some help, like structuring your training and structuring your strength training, your strength program, your conditioning program, then feel free to message me. I'll be more than happy to help. If you have anything you want to add, you can type it down in the chat box, or you can message me on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, like, share, subscribe, message me if you want to see the conditioning aspect or more workouts, whatever it is, hit me up. I'm the person for you. So I'll catch you in the next one.